Welcome to Pact Weekly, where we talk about what we're doing in Pact and why we're doing it. Most of you have heard from our leadership team that we want every team in Pact to be a learning team. And so we're trying to model this by going through a book on each of our weekly Skype calls. And this next couple months, we're going through a book called Changes That Heal by Henry Cloud. And this week we were talking about boundaries. Boundaries are basically what makes me, me, and differentiates me from you. And one of the things that makes me, me, and the things that I have control over is my attitudes. And when I read that, I thought that was a great idea, but I also realized that a lot of times I feel emotions that I don't know where they came from, and it feels like I'm not in control of where these emotions are coming from. Sometimes I'll be sitting on a plane watching a movie about a father and son or something, or some hero, and I'll just start crying. And I think, where did that come from? And fortunately, it's dark on the plane, so nobody sees me. But even though we may not know where our emotions are coming from or how they got there, or realizing sometimes the circumstances are creating emotions in me, regardless, we are responsible for what we do with those emotions and the attitudes that we generate out of those emotions. And so how does this relate to ministry? Well, a lot of times as we walk into team meetings or into an appointment, we may realize that we have a bad attitude, and unfortunately that attitude is going to affect everybody else in the meeting. The original author of Emotional Intelligence, Daniel Goleman, says, people rely on connections with other people for their own emotional stability. Interplay among members of a group takes on an emotional life of its own, rippling out throughout the group. In other words, whatever attitude you walk into a meeting with is going to ripple out throughout the rest of the group. And so you are responsible for whatever attitude you're bringing into your meetings. Sometimes when I am heading into a meeting and I realize I'm kind of in a funk or I'm in a bad mood, I purposely stop and ask to be filled with the Holy Spirit, and I know that's the Lord's will, so most of the time He magically fills me with the Holy Spirit and my attitude starts to change over the course of the next 15 minutes. And it was a great reminder from Henry Cloud that I'm responsible for that attitude that I bring into my meetings. And I just want to challenge us as we step into 2020 to remember that we are responsible for our attitudes. We may not know where our emotions come from, but our attitudes are our responsibility. And so let's bring positive attitudes into all of our meetings in this coming year.